Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. We will be using the Muse Tarot for your reading this morning. Firstly, before we go any further, a huge thank you to you all for your support, your lovely messages and your confirmations. I never tire of reading those, so don't stop sending them to me. And to the couple of people who always put a little bit of humour in for me, it doesn't go unnoticed. I feel strangely sort of calm this morning. I'm not sure if this means that it's the end of the Mercury retrograde or the end for me, but there's a strange feeling of calmness here, and I have this real energy of feeling at peace with myself after a very long time. And it's taken a lot of work to get me to this point, but I feel really sort of in a good place at the moment. So I hope you're all feeling that energy as well. I know you are, because we're all part of the same collective. And very often I say to you, this is what's happening, or this is what I'm feeling. And people write to me and say, yep, same as they write and say I've pulled the same cards. So what do I need to just, Facebook Live today, 12 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in coming and joining me and asking some questions for a small fee, then I am up and running and ready to do that for you. I actually really started to love doing the lunchtime YouTube lives. I'm really enjoying those. It's a chance for me to catch up with the people I haven't spoken to for a while. I want to still do the dates for some tarot classes. I will get them up and running very shortly. I just need to compare dates with a couple of people I'm working with to make sure we're not overlapping on dates. And also I've got some fairs coming up in the next few months at Bathurst and Goulburn, and possibly back at Merriweather. So they're all on the cards for me. Okay, and thank you to those who are following me on TikTok. I'm up to about 33,000 on there, so it's been a huge ride, and I'm loving it. I love it completely, but it is a bit of a time slip, the old TikTok. You sort of get on there to pass 5 minutes, and 2 hours later you're like, how did I get here? It reminds me of when they first started the internet, and you'd start on the internet and you'd end up all over the place. All right, so we have the Seven of Swords coming straight out of the gate. Wow, look at the foxes. This has been my thing. The messages coming from Spirit at the moment are so powerful for me. But the fox, after the incident with the fox the other day, I have seen foxes everywhere, and I get a little reminder here this morning. I want to say so much about that, but I won't get into a big blurb. But what I want to say to you, the more aware I become, the more awake I become, the more conscious I become, the more I see Spirit speaking. So don't get bogged down in your overthinking and your criticism of yourself, your self-sabotage, whatever it is for you, because in doing that, your mind is filled with nothing, and you are missing beautiful messages that will confirm you on your journey. And it's really interesting because they always seem to come through at the right time. Just when I'm feeling that I need that little bit of confirmation, through they come. And look at that, beautiful. So the foxes are here on the Seven of Swords, which is quite interesting. So the Seven of Swords, some people see this as the card of betrayal. The meaning of the card is about trying to get away with something. For me, it often comes up when you've been ghosted. False alarm. It comes up when you've been ghosted or you're self-sabotaging. So I always say to people when I read, especially in a personal reading, are you self-sabotaging yourself at the moment? It's often that feeling that we can't quite meet the needs of what we think we need to meet. So we think we're less than, we think we're small. And I want to just share something with you this morning because it was a huge one for me. And I have had a lot of messages in the last 24 hours. So before I go to bed now, I have a piece of fruit. I think I've been saying that having that piece of fruit late at night before I go to sleep, I'm sleeping so much better. So it's obviously got something to do with my blood sugar levels or getting hungry during the night, and especially because I've been doing this sort of fitness thing. I've lost 7 kilos at the moment, about 15 pounds. It's really working for me, having a bit of fruit late at night. So a piece of fruit last night had a mandarin, yum. And this morning I woke up because I'd put a couple of pips on the side, on my side table that I'd found in the mandarin. And I looked at the pip this morning and I thought, wow, just look at the size of that pip. That holds a tree. And it just really blew me away. And I hope it does for you too, because we spend so much of our lives making ourselves small, minuscule, and we forget what is inside of that. Like, you don't look at a baby and see the adult. You only look at the baby. And I feel like sometimes we keep ourselves very small. So when I see this card this morning, I feel like I need to say to you, stop keeping yourself small. You are much more than you ever imagined you were. This energy of stopping yourself, holding yourself back, and hiding yourself away from the world is no longer right for you. This is a time when you become the big tree. I always think from when we learned at school, that whole from the little acorn, big oak trees grow. Okay, so I have the Two of Pentacles coming through here. And we're talking about some sort of balance that needs to be. Okay. So for some of you, and I've been talking a little bit about this to the spiritual people that I have conversations with, and I want to just talk to you a little bit about this one. What we do as human beings, we really learn to use our emotions. If you've had a fairly difficult childhood, you might have taught that emotions were not healthy, so you hold them back, you deepen them down, you dig a hole and you put them away and you don't express yourself. And we are always told to do everything with love, do everything through a heart space, and all those sort of messages we get right from the beginning. But I have learned over time that it is not just about your heart space. It's about learning to see things without emotion as well. So it's learning when to use your emotion and when you don't use your emotion. And it was a big lesson for me in this last 2 years about learning when emotion was healthy and not healthy. And because I'd submerged a lot of my past emotion, I had these triggers that would go off for me when I would feel these emotions that were very difficult for me because I hadn't felt them before. I feel like I was probably a little bit of a mannequin or a robot before that time. And a lot of the emotion that had been kept back came forward. So I started working with those emotions thinking it was the right thing to do. But actually I've learned now that emotions are not always a good way to go forward. I feel like here you are being asked to look at things through a different lens or through a different perspective. And sometimes you just need to be the observer. You need to watch yourself. You need to see what you do. You need to see how you respond to your world and how you meet your world. Otherwise you block yourself for some reason, because the emotions are just a little bit too much to deal with sometimes. And you tend to sort of put these blocks up to stop yourself from experiencing things. So just watching, learning when to use your emotions, when to sit in your logical mind is so important. And I see that greatly here. All right, I have the Five of Swords. So I feel like here there is something that you need to move away from here. Whoa, there's like a truck coming through the house. The Five of Swords tells me that, like it's a card of winning at all costs. It is a card of being a little bit self-driven. It's also a card of recognizing that something is no longer good for you, even though it felt good to be in that energy. So it's about walking away from something, leaving something behind, but in your own way, winning at it, even if it doesn't feel so good to leave behind. So it might be a bad habit, say for example, overeating or smoking or drinking even, where it's really no good for you because you're doing it at a level that's unhealthy. But that giving it away is the best thing you can do. It may not be easy, but you need to do it. And that's what I feel you're doing here. You're using your logical mind and you're moving away from something. Now, the Page of Swords is often seen as the stalker card. I don't always see it in that energy either. The Page of Swords for me is a card of research, of learning. It's a card of having some sort of clarity around something and being able to take that clarity and make it work for you. So there's sort of an energy here that perhaps through some sort of experience that you're having here, maybe letting something go, walking away from something, that you are having these ideas about how to either research, you may be doing, learning about something, learning about some situation you're in, learning how to work with your emotions. But whatever you're doing here, you're researching something. Okay, and then we have the Four of Swords. Hello, all the swords again. A lot of mental work going on here. A lot of clarity, a lot of seeing your way more clearly, a lot more of understanding the direction you're going in. But the Four of Swords is definitely about the taking the time out. This is about meditation, sort of like digesting your world, taking it in and letting it really sink low. I feel like there's a lot of healing in the cards, yeah, because we have the Queen of Cups here. There's a lot of healing of your emotions. There's a lot of healing of your psyche, I want to say here. A lot of learning how to trust your intuition. Wow, no wonder we're all feeling so peaceful this morning. It's like so much realization coming through here. And I feel like that Queen of Swords, Eight of Materials. Okay. It's really funny with this Eight of Pentacles because we always see it as working on something. And I want to say to you, you are a work in progress. I have people say to me all the time, especially those in my coaching program, will say to me all the time that this is such hard work when they first start out because they are healing and they are doing conscious healing. And that's all about the meditation, digging through your past, whatever it is for you, but about letting go. And in the beginning, when you first start this journey, it feels hard because it feels different. And I was saying to somebody yesterday about this because it's so important to realize that any journey, any job, any work you do is hard in the beginning. Why? Because you don't know how to do it and you're on conscious programming. So for example, when you first get your driver's license, and not everybody drives, but just go with this for a moment. When you first get your driver's license and the driving instructor says to you, there's your license, off you go. And you sit in the car by yourself. And you are so conscious of where you are, what you're doing, what direction you want to go in. And you seem really, you've got to measure everything. I need to turn left here, I need to turn right here, I need to go straight, where am I going, how do I get there? And all of a sudden, everything you do is conscious. But after a while, you get in your car and you land at your destination and sometimes you don't even remember how you've got there. And that is what this journey is like. It's like in the beginning, yes, it's a little hard. Yes, you're a bit conscious of what you're doing. Yes, at times it may seem a bit difficult, but you'll never go back. You can never go back because once you start to understand how beautiful it is to embrace your psychic ways or to embrace your journey, going back is just not an option. You can't go back and hide. You can't go back and seal your shadow again. You can't do those things. And I feel like with the Eight of Pentacles here, it's telling us that whatever you're going through here is a work in progress, but stay with it. Be the observer. Stay focused on what you're doing, but also learn to go with the flow. All right, so we have the Ten of Swords coming through here. This is exactly how I'm feeling this morning. I'm feeling that for many of you, this is the end of some sort of, it's the Ten of Wands. End of some sort of cycle coming through here. Something is completing. Something is completing for you here. It's the end of something. Let's see where we're going. All right, so we have the Ace of Wands coming through. Isn't that beautiful? The completion and the new beginning, just like I said before. We have the Nine of Wands coming through, and we have the Moon card. Actually, the Moon card is in reverse. How interesting. All right, let's have a look at what's going on here. You know what I feel like this Moon is representing in the reverse is the outpouring of your emotion, the release of something here. It feels like you're draining something out. You're letting go of something because it's in reverse. You're not holding on to it anymore. The water is pouring. The emotions are going. Okay, so the Nine of Wands tells me that you've gone through some sort of repetitive pattern, some sort of energy of holding on, repeating something here. And it's about to conclude and you're about to move into a new time. What do I see here? So much passion. The inspiration here is just astounding. And it's because you're releasing all of this emotion that's been holding you back. You're starting to understand how to release the emotion, not hold on to it. There's something here for me, I can feel it. So I'm sort of trying to get into the energy here. It's like an opening up. But whatever this emotion is that you've held on to, whatever this energy is that you've been holding on to for such a long time, has blocked your passion, has blocked your inspiration. So letting go of something here, completing this cycle, you are able now to start something new. And I feel this is what's happening. And maybe it has got to do with the Mercury retrograde. There's a release here. Maybe you haven't experienced this yet, but this release will allow you to step back into your passions, to what drives you, to what you're here for, your goals, your journey. All right, so we have the card of the Chariot coming through with the 5 of Pentacles, and then we have the Magician. And again, it looks like you're taking forward movement here. It's like you've got everything in check. There's a lot of Pisces, Cancer energy here. So that moon energy is all through this reading. And something has been concealed for a really long time that you are about to bring to the surface here. Whatever this is, it's held you back in this sort of energy of lack. You've been coming from some sort of lack perspective because you've been experienced more emotion. You've been stuck in your emotions here. And now there's forward movement and manifestation with the Magician. The whole reading is pushing forward and letting go. All right, so we have the Awakening. Of course we do. That's perfect right there. King of Swords coming through here. And we have the Fool card. Oh my God, what a reading. Very, very powerful. Very powerful indeed. And I know it's been a really long reading as well. Okay, so I feel like it's got something to do with the end of Mercury retrograde. So I know the beautiful person who puts the astrology readings up will help me out here. I'm sort of thinking here there was something that we released in Mercury retrograde. Something was released, but let's have a good look. All right, so I have you no longer self-sabotaging. It's like you're understanding how to move away from this energy, balance out your emotion and your logic. And that's an important part of this journey here. There is a feeling here that you are moving away from something that has kept you prisoner. You've been bound to this. You may have been in that devil energy there, but you are moving away. I do see you perhaps researching, finding out more, understanding your journey. I also see you playing into meditations, putting time and energy into yourself, but really appreciating and respecting yourself here. I have a very, very strong feeling here with the Queen of Cups that this is the energy you're moving into. Whether you're a water sign or not, you are moving into pure love here, not emotion. Emotion and love are very different. Don't confuse the two. Emotions are different for all of us. We all express love in a different way. Emotions are human. Love is pure. All right, so here we have the 8 of Pentacles, and following that, look at that, the King of Cups coming through here. So you're learning to work with your emotions, definitely. And there's an energy here that you're moving into the Queen of Cups, but you're moving to the King of Cups energy, which is a little bit more controlled, a little bit more understanding, but it's the King of the Suit. So it's someone who doesn't overly express, but learns to understand when emotions are required or needed, but is also a little bit more standing in the power of understanding what emotions are about. I see passion coming back after a period of time because you are releasing past hurts, past pain, past emotion. There is forward movement here, a lot of forward movement. There is an energy of finally getting your chariot going in the right direction and understanding how you can manifest. So because you've let go of this energy, you're understanding your powers of manifestation. There is a beautiful energy here in taking up that sword, having clarity, having understanding, and sort of closing out a cycle here with the awakening and going into a brand new cycle with the Fool. So everything in this reading tells me that you are closing out, opening up, closing out, opening up. There's a lot of energy of forward movement, manifestation, and moving into this time where you are starting here with something brand new. And I feel, quite honestly, that you are leaving something behind with the Mercury retrograde. You've purged something big here. And it's such a beautiful energy. All right, so we have the elephant coming out again, and it's really funny because we had the elephant yesterday. So the elephant talks about moving forward with great intention. You also have the vulture, so let's read them both. Like I always say, the elephant means like just no obstacles, nothing in your way anymore. You've removed all the obstacles with the moon in reverse. You've let them all go. You've released, you've purged, and there are no obstacles now for you to create the future you want. All right, so we are going with the vulture. This is about guardian and purifier, essential for rebalance. I love it how Spirit does this. How amazing is it? Okay, the vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all. This intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does the dirty work that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued, and what you thought was a mistake or tragedy is a blessing in disguise. Now, that is absolutely perfect for this reading. Let's find this elephant. He's not a water animal, that's for sure. Elephant. This is about being unstoppable, auspicious and wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon be clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. So you can see how beautifully those two cards fit together. This is about purging something, getting rid of stuff that really doesn't serve you anymore, and going forth with no obstacles. Everything in this reading reflects those two cards. So beautifully matched up. Have a great day.